Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. The unsurpassed, profound and intricate Dharma is difficult to encounter, even over hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now that I have seen and heard the Dharma, I behold and uphold what the Dharma offers. I wish to understand the true meaning of Tathagata. Namo Root Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Root Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Root Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Ksitigarbha Sutra. Namo Ksitigarbha Sutra. Namo Ksitigarbha Sutra. Maha just means big, a huge bodhisattva. Ladies and gentlemen, and sentient beings of all the 6 realms, it gives me extreme pleasure to speak on the Ksitigarbha Sutra today, due to the compassionate request and compassionate heart of Chi Nguyen. She made this request for compassion of her suffering friend in Montreal, who was dying because of the unwholesome karma that she accumulated. This sutra is the most fundamental sutra when it comes to classical teaching of Mahayana. In all sects of Buddhism, we start learning Buddhism by learning the original teaching of the Buddha Shakyamuni, the Four Noble Truths. After the Four Noble Truths, the fourth one is the Eightfold Path. From the Eightfold Path, it developed into the 37 meritorious avenues. And those are the fundamentals. It's taken for granted that those of us who have been studying Buddhism for a while understand all these fundamental prerequisites. So both Mahayana and Theravada study all those things, as I mentioned before. But for Mahayana Buddhism, after having studied those, Mahayana Buddhism takes a step further. It progressed higher with a higher form of ideology. That is why I do not lecture on classical sutra until approaching the last semester of the 3rd year of AWE, or Academy of Wisdom and Enlightenment. Because at the Academy, our 1st year, we established the correct knowledge of the Eightfold Path, the first path of the Eightfold Path. And then in the 2nd year, we refine our correct view, which is the 2nd path of the Eightfold Noble Path, followed by a lot of working, devotion, refining the curriculum, teaching the curriculum, all that has to do with the rest of the Noble Paths. So once we have walked those Noble Paths in the 2nd year, in the 3rd year, we then learn about the 10 milestones in the human's journey of the heart in pursuit of the truth. During that 3rd year curriculum, which is in the 1st semester, we learn why the Theravada tradition and the Mahayana tradition separated almost 2,500 years ago when this rift, this division happened. So mainly, the Theravada ancestors are known as the Vabhajavadins, and their ideology is analytical reductionism. As opposed to that ideology is a new school called the Sarvastivadins, and their ideology is anabolic holism. Now, I will not go into explanation of those terms because it's all covered in our third year semester 1 curriculum. The way I will talk about this sutra will be at two levels. One is the literal level, which is what the word says here. The literal level, which suits most of the audience. But I will also explain this sutra at the enlightenment level, at a much higher level, just like what I just said. And these are addressed particularly and specifically only to students who are in the final semester of the third year curriculum of the Academy of Wisdom and Enlightenment. Only those would relate to this talk at the enlightenment level. Okay? Now, so I've given a brief introduction explaining how I'm going to talk about this sutra. This is a Mahayana Sutra. In fact, this is the Mahayana Sutra that the Sarvastivadin provide answer to the Vabhajavadin about the digressed ideology. This is how the Sarvastivadin answer the Vabhajavadin, and the Sarvastivadins were exiled. They were kicked out of India by King Ashoka after the third congregation. The Sarvastivadins were kicked out because the king and the Vabhajavadin regard they were traitors. Their ideology is wrong, is not what the Shakyamuni Buddha taught. So, the Sarvastivadin, on their exile outside India, they promote many Mahayana Sutra. And this sutra, the Ksitigarbha Sutra, is in fact the most fundamental sutra, the basic sutra of the Mahayana teaching. Alright? And this is the classical sutra. Okay? Now, in AWE, we have already simplified this and we do other things with it. But it's also contained in the sutra, as you will see, and it will all make sense as I go into it. Don't find this introduction of my talk boring. Okay? After you listen to this 10 times over, you will understand precisely what this is all about. Now, Ksitigarbha in Chinese is called Di Jiang, okay, or Di Jiang in Vietnamese. What that means is the Garbha. Jiang is Garbha, or the wealth, or the database. The database. Database of what? Database of all the karma. Di means the earth, the rock, okay, the foundation, the basic of the database. Wow. Listen, the basic of the database. Okay? For us, a destination, our life to change, we have to change our karma, we have to change our database. This is how we affect that database. This sutra tells us how to change our karma, how to change that database. That is the name of the detail. That is why this is the beginner, the first sutra. And every time when I come to reason that this is the fundamental, very first sutra, Mahayana students should study, if you choose the classical path, and I will come to name them. So the first is because it's the database. Okay, it's the D. Okay, D is the foundation. Okay, D. This will change the database for us. Number one. Number two. You've all heard about earth, water, fire, wind. These four elements progress in that order depending on the amount of energy in that element. When the element has very little energy, if you take water, when it has no energy, it is a rock, piece of ice. That is earth. That is D. When it acquires more energy, it becomes water. When it acquires even higher energy, it becomes fire. Fire means hot. You can feel it hot. And it acquires more energy, then evaporate into steam as wind. In the Mahayana tradition, we personify these four elements according to the energy content, or what we call the life force. The earth element is personified as Ksitigarbha. The water element is personified as Nguyen, Abhadagatasvara. The fire, that means active, warm, is personified as Manjusri. The final element of wind is personified as Samatapatra, or full hand. Pu hand. In Chinese is Pu Xian. What is in the heart of these bodhisattvas? In the heart of the Ksitigarbha Sutra is like a rock. That means his vow, his determination is strong like the rock. What is in the heart of Nguyen? Softness, compassion, water, formless. It herself have no form. It just go with the flow of the sentient being by great compassion. By being formless, water can migrate into every crack, every facet of existence. So compassion is not a strong thing. It's a very fluid thing. And Manjusri's heart, fire, is wisdom, because wisdom is transformation. Fire transforms. Okay? It transforms uncooked rice, into porridge. Okay? You need that energy of transformation. That transformation is wisdom. Without wisdom, we can be told many things, many times, nothing happens. Nothing will be transformed. And finally, Samatapatra, full hand, sits on the elephant, meaning with great strength. Great strength to do what? The elephant does work for people. It works for the benefit of all sentient beings with great power, great determination, non-stop labor. Okay? So that is, and you can see now, accordingly, why the four bodhisattvas have increasing amount of energy in them. So for all beginners, we are still very ordinary energy, and therefore we must start with Ksitigarbha. There's no point start studying right away Guanyang or start doing what Samatapatra do, because we are not even at that energy level. So we must all start from the basic beginning at the Ksitigarbha Sutra. Alright? So, This is now the third reason I mentioned. The first reason is changing the karma. The second reason is you look at the four elements. Okay? And the third reason is you look at the energy content of those four elements. This is the third reason why Mahayana practitioner or student must start with the Ksitigarbha Sutra. So that's the third reason, remember now. Okay? As I go along, I will give more reasons.